I can remember Robin Fromholtz from the Bourne, the one who taught me to score. So we went through cricket years all the way through, you know. But I always found him very fast. But the amount of times I lost my left peg to him was unreal. But he bowled left arm over, and it always made the ball fizz. It was really, you could hear it so much every time he bowled. And as I say, he took my left peg more times than I wish to remember.
Ray was always a good bowler, and in his younger days he was a good bat as well.
Yeah.
He used to bat 3 for Frensham. But Ray, when he started to play Surrey seniors cricket, he really came into his own, and he was a decent bowler, Ray. Yeah, he could move the ball about and
Never really.
And there used to be Canadian camp or an army camp at Bramshot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Canadian originally, but that kept going for years. And as you went down the A3 on the right-hand side, the hospital was on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side was the actual barracks and all the build blocks and everything, and they had their cricket ground there. So we played them one evening, and I opened the batting with Peter Clapham, and it was the opening bowler of the army. Anyway, faced up to the first ball, he came up and bowled, square cut it for 4. And I remember Peter coming up to me and saying, "Where did you get that one from?" Anyway, that was the first ball. Faced up to the second ball, didn't even see it, and the stumps went cartwheeling. So he was the quickest I ever faced.
But Graham Senior, I always thought he was a good bat and a good bowler, good bat. He used to play for the Bourne and then went to Frensham, and I always thought he was a very, very good all-rounder. I always thought he was one of the better players that I thought, you know.
In local cricket, probably John Story, I should think. There's a guy called Mike Ricketts who was a Surrey second team who played for Churt. But I think and probably Frank Kenwood. But he was towards the end of his career. I remember dropping him too in one of my early days. But luckily he didn't get a huge amount that day. But yeah, Frank was a good cricketer, terrific cricketer.
Did you ever play against, was it Petrosevic?
Yeah, Petrosevic was a good bowler. And of course he was their star. We won it in '69, they won it the next 3 years.
Peter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he was a giant, and he only took 6 or 8 paces.
Yeah.
And of course he brought it down from a hell of a height. And it was all big shoulders, Peter. Really pushed it through. And I can remember playing against him one day for the Grey Shot. And I opened the batting up there, and we had a bit of I can't remember, heavy shower or something like that just before we started. Not covered or any pitch not covered, of course. And he was absolutely lethal. I mean, the ball, not only was it coming down at, well, what felt like 100 miles an hour, but I mean, it was doing absolutely everything. I mean, it was really dangerous, and of course, no helmet. Yeah, it was a case of ducking and diving that day. Yeah, he was quick.
In Grey Shot would have been Eddie Gallagher probably. I mean, he was an incredible cricketer, terrific batsman, but it wasn't just a batsman, terrific fielder, wonderful throw, and he was no bad shakes as a bowler either, but as a batsman he was unorthodox.
Yeah, well, I remember playing on a Sunday down at Grays Wood, and Eddie was reasonably quick. We played down at Grays Wood, and it shows how things have changed. They had to ask the Grey Shot captain if he would take him off, because the pitch was too dangerous.
Wow.
Eddie was he had a great eye, fantastic eye. I remember one day we would sometimes fill in the club cricket conference games on a Sunday, and somehow or another we got matched with Farnham Twos on this Sunday over at the park, and Eddie just took it apart. He just smashed it everywhere, got 100 and something, and that's, if Eddie stayed in, that's the type of damage that he could do. Very capable.
Certainly had a good batting line-up. When Gerald was good, Gerald was excellent in one day. Excellent. His trademark shot was cutting the ball. Oh,
A grey shot, I would say, on the batting side, it has to be Gerald Baker. I saw Gerald play many fine knocks. I mean, he's got to be one of the best Ianson batsmen, I would say. But in particular, I remember that knock on the day of the Stevens final in '69, and Headley had one or two decent bowlers, and none more so than a guy called Frank Kenwood, who used to be quick in his day, but he was getting on in years, and he was just bowling left arm over medium pace. But Frank knew his stuff, and Gerald absolutely took him apart, as he did all the Headley bowling that night. I find it difficult to remember a better innings in our cricket than that one that I saw that night. Yeah, fantastic. Jeff was a thinker, and Jeff could work a batsman out. And he had the skill to then put it into place. And of course, having a skill like that as a captain as well, wonderful.
we knew we had a good side, and Jeff was a good skipper. We just got into the habit of winning, and we just kept on winning. And on the rare occasion that, you know, the openers and the middle order failed, there was always someone who came in, even if it was just once in the season, to get us out of trouble. It always happened. We had one near disaster at Whitehill, when Whitehill were in it was a really wet, glim, sort of day, and we were in danger of losing, and Brendan Lillis was bowling something like the last over, and Jeff instructed him to bowl underarm, and I had to get permission of the umpire. I do remember that. That was the one moment that could have gone, could have become rather nasty. But so we drew that game, I think.
But we played over at Rowledge when Rowledge was still in the Ianson and winning it every year. And Eddie was bowling, and I was fielding at first slip. And Brian Silver, you see, it's such an awful memory for me that I remember all the names. Eddie bowled one and it reared off a length. Brian went back and it brushed his gloves and it lobbed to me at first slip. Absolutely just dropped into my... I didn't have to move forward or anything. Just dropped nicely into my hands. What happened? Grasped it. And everybody fell about laughing.
Even Eddie?
I'm not sure about Eddie. I didn't look at Eddie.